Welcome to Minghui Radio's Falun Gong News, direct from China and around the world. Topics include news about the persecution of Falun Gong in China, local events, and special items of interest. Now for this week's stories.
USA. Shenyang Performing Arts kicked off its 2026 tour in Texas with a performance in Houston on December 26th. The company is scheduled to give more than 40 performances in 9 Texan cities. The governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, wrote a letter of welcome and wished the performing arts company continued success. The letter read in part, "Since 2006, Shenyang has honored the rich heritage of Chinese music, dance, and dress as they showcase their traditions through 8 touring companies that span the globe each year. Using state-of-the-art digital sets and backdrops and handmade costumes, Shenyang masterfully blends the past and present to create an unforgettable experience of sight and sound. The Lone Star State is proud to host Shenyang, and I am confident that the world-class productions that highlight ancient Chinese culture will make a lasting impression. I applaud the dancers, musicians, organizers, directors, and volunteers who bring this dynamic performance to life as their dedication makes this tour a reality."
New Zealand. A rally exposing the human rights crimes against Falun Dafa practitioners in China took place in Auckland's city centre on December 27th. Kerry Gore, an attorney well known for opposing human rights abuses, addressed the gathering. He commended Falun Dafa practitioners' perseverance and called on people from all walks of life in New Zealand to help practitioners stop the communists' persecution. The Dragon Dance team attracted attention at the event, while a sizable group of practitioners practiced the exercises together. Anne-Marie from South Auckland said, "I've never heard of it, but after seeing their group practice, I'd like to learn more about it." She said she would download Falun Dafa books that are available for free online and added, "I truly wish to learn. I want to start practicing." Gilbert Boza from Australia listened to Kerry Gore's speech, condemned the CCP's forced organ harvesting, and commented, "Life is priceless. Such things will make God furious." He urged governments to act against the atrocities and said, "The brutal CCP regime and its accomplices must be stopped." Boza commended the practitioners' efforts to raise awareness and said he would continue to help stop the persecution.
Sweden. Christmas and New Year's Day are the most celebrated and important holidays of the year in Sweden. Festivities filled the downtown area of Stockholm from the start of December through New Year's Day. The holiday decorations of the historic traditional Christmas market illuminated the winter darkness and filled the entire city with a romantic and festive atmosphere. Tourists from all over the world were drawn to experience its Nordic charm. Practitioners introduced Falun Dafa and raised awareness of the persecution in China during events at the Myntgården Public Square near the Royal Palace, as well as next to the famous Stockholm Concert Hall every Friday and Saturday afternoon during the month of December. They demonstrated the Falun Dafa exercises and collected signatures on a petition calling to end the crimes against practitioners in China. People talking with practitioners also learned about the transnational repression campaign that the CCP has used to export its persecution overseas. Many people expressed interest in discovering more about Falun Dafa, and some started to learn the exercises during the Myntgården event on December 27th.
Japan. Falun Gong practitioners met in the area of Kudenshita Station in Tokyo on New Year's Day to raise public awareness of the persecution of Falun Gong among people who were attending the Japanese New Year prayer ritual Hatsumode. Many people accepted flyers, sincerely encouraged the practitioners, and said they hoped the persecution would end soon. A supporter named Miss Ishikawa had learned about the persecution of Falun Gong and forced organ harvesting through social media. She expressed her outrage with a sense of urgency and said, "If this is not stopped, the Japanese people will be next. If the world doesn't act together, morality will be completely destroyed." Ms. Ishikawa displays books that contain information about the persecution and live organ harvesting in her shop, which she shares with customers and friends. She said, "I hope all Falun Gong practitioners have the strength to persevere. What the Chinese Communist Party is doing is simply beyond words." On the previous day, peaceful protests were held on the island of Kyushu, as well as Nagasaki, Fukuoka, and the cities of Nagoya, Tokyo, Sapporo, and Osaka.
Slovakia. From November 29th to December 21st, practitioners held Falun Dafa information events on the weekends in the cities of Nitra and Bratislava to tell people about the human rights violations related to the persecution of the practice in China. Many people added their names to a petition to help stop the persecution and forced organ harvesting. Those who signed the petition mentioned various reasons for doing so, including their aversion to the barbaric nature of the crime and their admiration for practitioners' righteousness in upholding their belief in Falun Dafa's principles of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. Among the supporters were many young students who expressed a strong sense of righteousness. Alex Gabura, a student from the Czech Republic, signed the petition and said, "I believe that the most important thing is equality for all people. Today, society lacks almost all moral values. So values such as truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance could help our society infinitely." A group of students from Macedonia also stopped at the Falun Dafa booth in the city of Bratislava. More than 10 of them added their signatures to the petition.
USA. Shenyang Performing Arts will hold 10 shows for the people of Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia at the Kennedy Center, January 7th through the 18th. Governor Wes Moore of the state of Maryland marked the 20th anniversary of the Performing Arts Company with a citation in January. It said in part, "Because of your demonstration of high integrity and ability, meriting our great trust and respect, we are most pleased to award you the Governor's citation in appreciation of your outstanding services to the citizens of this state." From the state of Virginia, U.S. Congressman James Walkinshaw wrote a letter to congratulate the Shenyang Performing Arts Group on the 20th anniversary of its founding and praised its accomplishments. The letter stated, "As Shenyang celebrates 2 decades of artistic work, I commend the dedication required to sustain large-scale performances and engage audiences year after year. Reaching millions worldwide is no small achievement and reflects the enduring public interest in live performance. Please accept my best wishes for a successful world tour and continued growth in the years ahead. I wish you every success as you continue contributing to the global performing arts community." The following are selected cases of persecution of Falun Gong practitioners in China. Mr. Zhao Jinzhong has been denied all forms of communication with his family since he was detained over 6 years ago for his faith in Falun Gong. Mr. Zhao of Shanxi Province was arrested during a police sweep of local Falun Gong practitioners on September 7th of 2019. According to insiders, the police installed a surveillance camera on a balcony facing Mr. Zhao's home and monitored his movements before making the arrest. Mr. Zhao's family only found out he was being transferred to prison when they went to deposit money for him, but were not allowed to. The guards also did not let them visit him in person because he had not admitted to being, quote, guilty of practicing Falun Gong. The guards told the family to leave a phone number and promised to call him if there was anything they needed to know. No one ever called, and Mr. Zhao has never been allowed to call or write to his family.
Mingwei previously reported on Ms. Liu Hongxia's death, which came days after she was denied medical parole. New information has emerged about the case. Ms. Liu was sentenced to 4 years in 2022 and was hospitalized and moved to an intensive care unit 2 months later. Her family applied for medical parole, but their application was denied. Ms. Liu died on November 8, 2022. She was 47. The new information available concerns a request for government information by Ms. Lu's husband, Mr. Yuan Yiji. He requested information regarding the police agency that verified the prosecution evidence against his wife. The court judge stated in the verdict that all the materials confiscated from Lu Hongxia's home all contained information about Falun Gong and materials defaming the Chinese Communist Party and China, and were thus deemed cult propaganda. However, no law in China has criminalized Falun Gong, nor labels it as a cult. His wife's body is still in a morgue as he continues to seek justice for her.
A 75-year-old woman in Shanxi province was sentenced to 9 years late last year for her faith in Falun Gong. On the night Miss Kuo Guilan was arrested, the 4 police officers did not allow her to change her clothes or shoes before dragging her away. At least 12 other practitioners in the area were also arrested around the same time. One of Miss Huo's ankles was severely injured during the arrest and became swollen, making it difficult for her to walk. The next day, her condition worsened. She was dizzy and experienced chest pain, back pain, and had difficulty breathing. Her hearing and vision also declined. Her family requested that she be released on bail, but their request was denied. During the court hearing, the judge asked the clerk to stop recording the court proceedings to avoid incriminating the police. Prior to her latest sentencing, Ms. Huo served 2 labor camp terms and a 5-year prison term for upholding her faith.
Ms. Shi Yunlun of Hebei Province finally returned home in May last year after being held in a hospital for over 10 years because the police who beat her unconscious refused to cover her medical bills, which totaled over 800,000 yuan. Ms. Shi was arrested in 2014 for practicing Falun Gong. The police beat her unconscious but did not take her to hospital until the next morning. She had a craniotomy that day, but because her brain had been bleeding for too long, she could not talk clearly and was paralyzed from the waist down. The police station promised her family that they would cover the medical expenses and provide compensation to them, but later began to shirk responsibility, claiming that Miss Shi's injuries happened after she tripped and fell. Because the police never provided a case report for Ms. Shi or paid her medical bill, the hospital stopped her treatment and refused to let her go. They also never performed the required operation to repair her skull.
Chinese tourists in Ireland eager to quit the CCP. On December 27th, practitioners held activities in downtown Dublin to introduce the Falun Dafa spiritual practice to local residents, as well as to tourists from around the world. They also exposed the CCP's brutal persecution of Falun Dafa, which includes taking organs from detained practitioners for use in transplants while they are still alive. Since the beginning of summer, the streets and alleys of downtown Dublin have been filled with tourists, and Falun Dafa practitioners held truth clarification activities every Saturday afternoon. During peak tourist season, there were also small Falun Dafa sites next to the tourist hotspots so that more people, especially tourists from China, could learn about the practice. Because information is censored in China, it's very difficult for people in mainland China to learn the truth about Falun Dafa and the persecution. Many Chinese tourists who learn of the brutality of the persecution and see through the CCP's lies choose to withdraw their membership in the party and its affiliated organizations. A young woman who recently moved from China to Ireland tearfully said at the Falun Dafa information booth, "I'm extremely moved to see this." She said in China no one can speak the truth. Whenever she writes anything official, she has to first repeat the regime's lies. She said she left China because she could no longer tolerate such an oppressive environment. A practitioner told her that if she wanted to learn more about Falun Dafa, she should read the main book, Zhuan Falun. She was also told about the Falun Dafa website listed on the flyer, where anyone can download all of the books for free. The young woman said she'd be happy to check out the website. She also agreed to quit the CCP and repeatedly thanked the practitioners. One Saturday, a group of tourists from China passed by a Falun Dafa information site. A practitioner greeted a middle-aged woman who was walking at the back of the group and said, "Would you like to read this?" and offered her a Chinese Minghui publication. Before the woman could reply, a hand reached out and grabbed the magazine. The practitioner noticed a man behind her and explained to him and the woman about the significance of quitting the CCP. The man immediately said, "It has not done a single good deed." The practitioner then said, "Then please withdraw from the party." To which he replied, "Yes, I quit." He walked up to the other tourists in the group and said loudly, "They asked me to withdraw from the party. I agreed." One recent Sunday afternoon, Mr. Li, a Chinese man pushing a baby stroller, noticed practitioners handing out flyers. He smiled and told them he'd already read the information. He remarked that the materials reveal the true story of the CCP over the span of the past century. Mr. Li said, "During the past 100 years, the CCP has been doing bad things. It's a cult." He said he left China many years ago and now lives in Dublin. Although he had already withdrawn from the CCP, he'd read the party's propaganda about Falun Dafa and asked practitioners, "Do you get paid to do this?" The practitioner told him that all practitioners engage in these activities voluntarily in their spare time and use their own money to print flyers and other materials. She explained that practitioners have benefited so much because they live by Falun Dafa's principles of truthfulness, compassion, forbearance, and they hope that others won't be deceived by the CCP's lies. She said it's for these reasons that they voluntarily hand out information, talk to people about Falun Dafa, and let them know about the persecution in China. Mr. Li said, "Then you are truly remarkable."
7 countries visited by Shenyun's touring companies during New Year's week. Shenyun Performing Arts' 8 touring companies presented 39 performances in France, Poland, Italy, the United Kingdom, Latvia, Taiwan, and the United States during the first week of the new year. Packed houses were not uncommon. The New York touring company performed a full house at the Teatro Regio Torino in Torino, Italy, on January 3rd. The troupe presented 6 performances in Torino from December 30th to January 4th. Tickets for all performances were sold out in advance. Judge Alberto Botti and his wife saw Shenyun there. He said of the performance, "This is a message of salvation, just light, light. It descended from the heavens and illuminated the world. It reshapes the hearts of all who seek salvation. This message has brought great hope." The judge continued, its messages also included freedom, kindness, compassion, as well as restoration of ancient traditions. Former art critic Muraviova Irina also experienced Shenyun in Torino. She said, "I commend the divinity, kindness, and spiritual elevation. This is completely different from the material success solely obtained in the secular world. There was a greater force delivering messages. It was divine and extraordinary, and not something that could be done by ordinary people." Shenyun Touring Company presented 3 performances to packed houses in Riga, Latvia on January 3rd and 4th. The Minister for Education and Science of Latvia, Dafa Melbarde, saw Shenyun there and commented, "Very inspiring. The entire show is filled with spirituality and meaning. The performance is based on traditional culture. I can see the connection between the performance and traditional Latvian culture. Our culture is also based on reincarnation." On December 27th through the 31st, the Shenyun International Company presented 6 performances in Bordeaux, France. The 4,000-seat arena sold out every show, drawing nearly 24,000 audience members. The mayor of the town, Amor Marcel Moyenard, saw Shenyun there on the last day. He said the artistic standard is remarkable. "I can't think of anyone in France who could achieve this level. The integration of all elements, the digital backdrop, the live orchestra, and the performers on stage was truly magnificent. This performance surpasses simple beauty. It is divine art." Mr. Moynard added, "This is not just a cultural presentation. It is also a kind of reminder for humanity's future, conveyed with goodwill. He said he felt a sense of responsibility to tell people, "Come and see the performance. Truly, you must come." I can tell you, we were deeply moved, extremely so.
Thank you for listening to the Minghui Radio Podcast. For more information, including news about the persecution of Falun Gong practitioners in China and experience sharing stories by practitioners around the world, please visit our website at en.minghui.org.